What's up? Today we're going to be talking about 4 investing myths that I hear and you don't have to fall into. Hey, what's up? Today we're going to be talking about 4 investing myths that most of us believe, and by the end of this video, I'm going to convince you to change your mind, hopefully. I hear a lot of myths when it comes to personal finance, but specifically when it comes to investing. There's a lot of misinformation out there and there's a lot of uncertainty when it comes to beginning investors. I totally understand. I've been there myself. So we're gonna break down 4 of the common myths that I see for new investors and what you can do about it. Myth number 1, we all watch the TV shows, we all see the movies, and we think our myth is that investing is high stress and fast paced. And honestly, it's not. That's a style of investing. It's not one that I personally recommend for a lot of newbie investors because nobody has time for that. Not to mention, our hearts can't handle that much stress. It's a lot. So if you feel like investing has to be very scary, it has to be this like constant battle of like, it's up and then it's down and you're stressing out and you're buying and selling and you're doing all of these things, you don't have to invest that way. Again, that is a strategy, but there's other ways to invest that will still give you a great return. Specifically when it comes to index funds, bonds, and ETFs, these are all very, very boring investments that don't really fluctuate that much and honestly are a lot less stress. So if you have been hesitating to invest because you feel like it's gonna be this like high risk, really scary thing, it doesn't need to be. Myth number 2 is that investing is difficult to learn. Now, I don't know where this myth came from. I think it maybe comes from a lot of financial institutions trying to prey on people's confusion, but frankly, investing is not difficult to learn. It's actually quite easy. There's a few key principles that you need to know. What is an IRA and how do you use that to your advantage? What is an index fund? What is an ETF? What is a bond? And just understanding the basics of when you choose an investment, what to look for. If you are confused or you're a little bit unsure, then definitely go check out the series that I did about opening a brokerage account, buying your first share of an ETF, and more specifically, what to look for when you go to invest. I break it down very, very simply, so it's enough to get you started and get you building wealth. But it doesn't have to be difficult to learn. You can read a book. Oh, speaking of books, I highly recommend reading J.L. Collins' The Simple Path to Wealth, and also Broke Millennial Takes on Investing. These are 2 books that are really easy to understand and really simplify that whole process so that you can start to learn the basics. Now, the 3rd myth that I often hear is that you need to have a lot of money before you start investing. I used to believe this myself until I started to read more books when I was in high school. Yes, I was that nerdy kid, it's true. But one of the things that I learned is that you don't have to invest a ton of money. You don't have to have thousands of dollars before you can start to do this stuff. In some cases, especially with technology, you can start investing into what's called a fractional share, which allows you to invest $20, $50, basically whatever you have available to you. It's really, really cool. So you don't have to have a ton of money to start investing. And if you're looking for like a really good place to start investing without having a ton of money, I would highly recommend checking into some of the robo-advisors. I specifically used Betterment when I first got started with investing on kind of DIY-ish. And that one was really helpful for me personally. Betterment, linked in the comments box below. All right, 4th myth that I often hear when it comes to investing is you have to hire someone smarter than you to manage this process. Basically, this myth is saying you can't be trusted with your investing because you don't know what the heck you're doing. Now, that might be true right now. Like, truly, that could be the case where you really don't know anything yet. But you are capable of doing this on your own. And in some cases, it will save you hundreds of thousands of dollars, $300,000+ if you learn to do some of the basics on your own. Now, I'm not saying you don't need a professional in your life. I think financial professionals are very, very, very important. But I don't want you to feel like you have to hire a financial professional in order to get results. That's just not the case. And true story, when I first started investing, I remember I was putting $100, I was 19 years old, I was putting $100 into mutual funds with a big box financial advising firm. I'm not gonna name names, but it was one of the bigger ones. And I remember sitting down and I was looking at my reports and it seemed like my money wasn't actually growing. Like I looked at how much I invested and how much my returns claimed to be, and it just didn't work. Like my math was not adding up. What I learned is I was paying 7% in fees. These were all fees, but still, that is a shit ton of money. That's not a good thing. Most of your investing is trying to minimize the fees as much as possible so that you get the best returns for you in retirement age. But that was one of those things that I didn't know that. And so I paid a big price to have that investment because of my lack of knowledge. Now again, sometimes we all start there and that's completely okay, but you don't have to hire a professional to do this for you. You are fully capable of figuring out the basics, and there's so many technology platforms and even Vanguard that can help you along the way so that you start to take action instead of sitting on the sidelines and feeling like you don't have enough money, you're not smart enough, and it's not your time. It is absolutely your time to build that wealth, baby. All right, that is it for today. These are the 4 common myths that I often hear from newbie investors, and I hope it helps you build your confidence, take control of your life, and start to build that wealth. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you like this video, give it a like, a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel where I put out investing videos and all kinds of fun financial content over weekly updates. The crap am I even talking about? Anyways, thank you so much for tuning in. I will see you for another video next week. Bye.